Let's be very clear. Conversations around racism have been taking place for centuries, but the last couple of months have felt incredibly trying for so many. Norm, you've used your platform, you've used your voice to speak out against racism and call for change, but you're also doing so in an NBA bubble where you are not around family at a time where, frankly, mentally, we could all use that support. So I want to start off by asking how you're doing.
Over the last few months, it's been pretty tough. I mean, I think just as a whole, where we're at, with quarantine and then with the events last May with George Floyd and having to deal with that and the way everything has escalated with Black Lives Matter movement and kind of feels like we're fighting a civil war on our like own turf in America. Um, but just talking to everybody. Um, so much emotions and things are going on right now. It's been a lot to take in, but just trying to focus on myself in the present moment and doing whatever I can to help and do my part.
Your UTG clothing line doing some really good things. The proceeds from the spring and summer collections, as well as a personal donation from yourself going towards two organizations, Color of Change and Toronto's Black Women in Motion. Let's talk about Black women. You look at the WNBA, women have been at the forefront of this movement. Why is it so important that we continue to amplify, protect, and support Black women?
Well, first of all, I think it goes back to my upbringing. I'm the youngest of three. I grew up in a household of Black women. Very strong Black women at that. Who really helped guide me. And lay the foundation for where I'm at now, and how to manage and navigate through life as a young African American male. And I've seen firsthand with my sisters dealings in the workplace and my mom as well, the struggles and things they have to go through and the daily fight that they have to put up with, not only because of the color of their skin, but because of their gender, and I think stepping aside from that, you see the constant fight for women in general, for the equal rights and fair treatment, showing that they're strong, and then that they can contribute to society as well. And I think it's the right thing to do to show that these women are strong, they have voices, and they can make an impact just as well as men. And they shouldn't be cast to the side or looked upon differently because of their gender, and let alone their color. So I think it's a double battle that they've been fighting for a long time, and it goes to show that they need our support as well as being men, and looked upon as leaders, that we wouldn't be here without them. Kind of like I relate to how Tupac talked about the Black woman and his mother, and so I have that same connection there in the empower and uplift the Black women because I know for myself I wouldn't be here without them.
Your new collection, which is out right now, includes messages that you actually want to put on the back of your jersey, but were not able to do so. Am I next? Being one of those messages. What does that question mean to you?
Am I next? Really hits home for me. First and foremost, I think when I came out with it, I got a lot of backlash from people that didn't understand it and kind of put their own little view on it because of the position that I'm in, being in the NBA. When all that came out, I got a lot of comments and messaging talking about. I'm talking from a place of privilege, that I shouldn't be saying this because of the money that's in my bank account or the position I am in society now. Like I'm protected or like I
Right.
grew up with this financial background that I have now. Like it was something that I had since day one. Like I didn't have to grow up and work and grind to be where I'm at. And people kind of kept saying that I'm protected and that I need to shut up and that I'm not oppressed anymore. I was never was oppressed, but I came from oppression and I'm still oppressed. My people are still oppressed and I'm still part of it. Just because I worked and now that I'm in a position of where I'm comfortable per se financially doesn't mean that I'm not oppressed. And I don't think people understand that when you take this jersey off or when I leave Toronto and I go back to my community in San Diego or out and about wherever I am, that they don't see me as, oh, that's Norman Powell and he's a basketball player and this and the other and he has money. No, I look just like somebody else that's on the street, and I've been in situations like that. So from when I was in college or even recently when I was in the pros going back home being pulled over and harassed by the cops because they don't know who I am. They don't know anything about me. They see a black male in a car, and they think, oh, you're a gang member, or you're up to no good, or is this car yours because you're in a nice car that you rented coming back home visiting family. So that the am I next stands for, am I going to be another unarmed black African American in this world that's going to be having their lives in jeopardy, due to the stereotypes and predisposition of police officers automatically assuming that you're up to no good because of the color of my skin. That's what Amanex stands for, and because I was in those situations, it really just hit home for me and spoke to me, and just to show where I stand for that. No matter what your financial background or where you're at in society, on career level, you can still be targeted. When I walk away from basketball, I'm just like everybody else, and that should speak volumes to people. That it doesn't matter what you have in your banking account. That it's real, and that it happens at all levels.
You've also decided that proceeds from this collection will be going to two new organizations. Who are those organizations, and what went into you choosing them?
So we're doing the Black Youth Helpline, and then Campaign Zero. Um, Campaign Zero one, it was really important to me because it's all about police reform and changing the way policing is. And for me, that's really big. I think that's one area for me that really affects and hits home. I was saying previously the way I've been harassed, being back home in my community, and the stories and things that I've heard with my friends and everybody else. I think that's one area that really needs a change. And I think they need more in place to help teach and have sensitivity training with the officers, and even more training with how long it takes from the own a gun, and how to approach different people, and not have that, oh, they're dangerous because they're black, or whatever it is. Because I've seen too many of my friends, too many stories in the news of unarmed African American children getting killed, and it turns out they don't have a gun, and nothing's happening to the police officers. So I think that's one thing that needs to be changed, and it can be changed immediately. So that's why I picked that organization, and then the Black Youth Helpline. For me, growing up, like I said, having that option to be able to come and have an open dialogue and vent, and having people support you uh, through your time growing up until you can understand how to navigate the world as a young black man in society is really important, and that's what that foundation does. And for me, I've always been big on giving back to the next generation and helping them, reach their goals and their opportunities, and break down walls and barriers. And that's what I've been able to do, and that's what I'll continue to do, to be that positive light for the next generation, and be an open book for them to be able to come talk to me about things that they need help with on the court, whether it's sports or off, and how to navigate daily life. That's what got me here, is the village that helped me get here. And that's what the Black Youth Helpline is all about, and that really hits home for me.
Now, Norm, presence in community is a core value of so many players in the NBA, but right now you cannot be in your communities physically because of COVID-19, because you are in the NBA bubble. So, how have you found ways to make sure that you are still actively engaged in these vital conversations that are taking place right now?
One thing that we've done as an organization, has been really vocal in helping the players, talking to each other, having meetings, and how we can help one another through this time. And then, like you said, just being so used to being able to be with our community, and be on the ground, with different events, different gatherings, different meetings. I've been very vocal with the people in my community, the activists in the San Diego community where I grew up. And my agency's done a great job of helping me continuing my voice and using my platform to voice where I stand and my opinion on the current matters. I think that's the best thing about being in this bubble, is the platform that we have, because all eyes are here. All eyes are wondering what the NBA is doing and how we're going to respond um, to everything. And I think we've been doing a great job with that.
When it comes to using your platform to affect change, as a league, the NBA has set itself apart as a huge leader in that. But let's not kid ourselves, there's still plenty of room for growth within the league, particularly with representation. Yes, players predominantly are black, but when you look at coaching staff, when you look at front office positions, that's where the representation seems to trail off. Are these conversations that are taking place amongst athletes right now?
We've definitely had talks about it as a team, and how we can affect change and put people in position of power that kind of relate to what we're going through, whether that's coaching, whether that's people that help with the mental side of it. We have great people in that position in this organization, and I love them to death. But it's tough to have those conversations of this is what I'm going through, this is trauma in my life, and it's hard for them to really get down to the core details of it. They can give you the breakdown and how to deal with it and cope with it a little bit, but until you really fully understand like what it's like to go through that, it's kind of tough to open up and have those open conversations where you feel comfortable. But we've definitely talked about it, and I think it's something that should be changing in the hopefully in the oncoming years. I know players are really vocal about that, and hoping and having coaches in the right position to give African American coaches a chance, to run a team and have a chance to be successful. It's tough to say how we can do something immediately,
Right.
but I think it's something that everybody's really aware of, and I think through different organizations in this league, they're gonna open up and find positions to where we can start putting people of color in a position of power.
When we say change or when we talk about a different society, a different place for generations to come to feel comfortable and to feel safe and protected, what does that look like?
Man, that's a fully loaded question, but honestly, the way to put it is everybody needs to be open and everybody needs to be together. Talking on my Zoom call with the people in my community and asking me how we can affect change. It has to happen within us as a whole, and then we can move together and affect real change around. I think when we're divided and everybody is in their own little world about what's going on and not really having that open dialogue and having an open mind and understanding what's really happening, we won't be able to see actual change. It takes somebody to have that real courage to open up and say, I understand. And I realize, and I was wrong in thinking this way. And I'm with you, and I'm here to fight with you. And I think you see a lot of that now with everything being on the forefront and people starting to understand what kneeling was about. You know,
Right.
um, we were kind of worried in that aspect, in the sense of what it came to us kneeling down for the Canadian anthem as well. We were really worried about uh, the outlook and what people would see that as disrespect to the Canadian um, flag and everything like that. But it was about showing that we stand with our Canadian brothers as well. That racism isn't just in America; that it's worldwide. And it took a lot of understanding and talking to my friends that are Canadian to see what they see and experience what they experience. So that's what I'm saying. When you have to have that open mind and that open dialogue to understand what everybody goes through. And until we reach that point, we won't be able to see real change. We can start making progress to where we are, but it's going to take everybody on the same page to really grow and affect change worldwide.
Norman, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.